hello, and welcome to a new episode of Comadres y Comics. This is episode 216. That's 216. We're your hosts. I'm Sarah.
Wow.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
Welcome back, girls. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
I'm tired.
Jen.
Look, I just got done with a 10.5-hour shift. So
No.
I think a girl is allowed to be tired.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
I'm not a spry 22 anymore when I could work endlessly for you, Kristen. Oh, the good old days.
Good old days in your 20s. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
You want it to last
absolutely.
forever.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed my 30s more than I enjoyed my 20s. I didn't start getting tired till probably my late 30s, though.
Fair enough. I feel like I really like. Okay, so I've made. I would like to say that I'm pretty good. I'm on very good friendly terms with my manager in that she is my friend. Which they say don't make friends with your managers, which probably true, but I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to be miserable at work. Or have no one to talk to. Like seriously,
Right,
like
yeah.
I would die. I would that's why I hated Amazon so much. Nobody fucking wanted to talk, or we weren't allowed to talk.
Oh my gosh, you
but-
weren't allowed to talk?
Not with each other, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we constantly had to be like either like do something or stuff like that, or we were like we weren't supposed to like stand around and talk with each other pretty much.
Right, okay, yeah.
It was
But
awful.
talk and work.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
least.
They didn't like that. So Amazon soul sucking.
Yeah.
Not in the good way either.
Hey, here we go.
But so she started a new diet, and she was just like, start the diet with me, and I was like, I don't know, it's like a lot, but she's like, come on, do it. And so I was like, okay, I'll start the diet with you. And so it's basically a low iodine / salt diet and stuff like that, but there's just like, it's no iodized salt, no cheese, no dairy, no there's like some other like no rhubarb, no like like this all this other stuff as well. And I was actually doing pretty well until I realized that one, this includes all seafood, including seaweed. And
So the iodine.
yeah, the iodine.
Wow.
And then I was just like, wait, hold on, hold the fucking
up. Also, what kind of diet?
Well, she is
this?
actually doing it because of her radiation treatment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. She has specific guidelines that she has to.
Yeah,
follow.
and she didn't want to feel lonely, and I was just like,
Sure.
okay, and it's probably good for me too because it means I'm eating less salt. And I can probably that way I can stop having an upset stomach. I probably should be cutting dairy out of my diet anyways. So I was like, sure, I'll do it with you, but man, once I realized, I was like, no fucking seafood, no seaweed. Do you know how much?
Yeah, you eat a lot of seafood.
I eat a lot of seafood, and I
Yeah.
eat a lot of seaweed. Like, not even like with rice, sometimes just by itself. I
Right.
fucking love seaweed. That shit slaps, okay? And I'm sorry, I know you don't like seafood, Kristen. I
Yeah.
love it. So once that actually set in and kicked in, I was just like, oh shit, actually I'm gonna have a hard time with this. But we'll make it work. I did eat very healthily today, though.
Nice.
Yeah. But I'm so hungry still.
I long for the days in my 30s where eating healthy for me was going to Jamba Juice. It was when I was in denial that Jamba Juice.
Yeah.
I wasn't even in denial. I was completely naive to the fact that Jamba Juice had so much freaking sugar in it.
Every time someone comes in and buy something and they're like, I'm being good today, I want to laugh in their face and be like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You think you're being good. You're not being good.
I thought I was being good. I used to use it as a treat to make myself go to the gym because there was a Jamba Juice directly across the street from the gym I used to go to in Pasadena. And I'd be like, I don't want to go to the gym. And then I'd be like, okay, but Kristen, if you go to the gym, you get a Jamba Juice. And so I would trick myself into going so that I can get my orange dream machine.
Yeah. Oh my God. Just 5 scoops of ice cream and orange juice. And soy
Oh my
milk.
gosh.
Wow.
Those-
Wow.
You know, it's so segue, but like you can make your Jamba Juice healthy because we have oat milk, whatever. Like I use the oat milk, although our oat milk's pretty good. We have oat milk, we have 2% milk. Hell, you can substitute it for water.
Mhm.
But people don't. Or
Yeah.
I find it. Or here's my next favorite request when people say this. They're like, "Do you add sugar?" And I'm like, "No, most of the sugar comes from the juice. So if you're like cutting down or if you're diabetic, I was like, you can replace it either with one of the milks or with water." And they're like, "Oh, so like you guys don't add sugar?" I'm like, "No, we don't. It's all from the juice." They're like, "Okay, then that should be fine." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" Like
Any
you just
diabetic worth their weight in juice knows that they should be very careful drinking fruit juices because of how high in sugar they are. That's why when you're going into like diabetic shock because you're so low sugar, the first thing they tell you to do is drink juice because there's so much concentrated
There's so
sugar
much.
in it.
There's so much. And our juices they're from concentrate and we dilute them with water. Yeah, but they're still like God, I was looking at it. I think the drink with the most or like at least like the second or third most amount of sugar in our thing is the mango go-go.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's so good. It really is really, really good, but it's so sugary. The one with the least amount of calories is the Mega Mango.
Oh,
So
interesting. Okay.
it's so funny when I tell people that and they're like, "What's the difference?" I'm like, "Oh, well, one has like pineapple sherbet, the other one doesn't, and it's made with pineapple juice instead." And they're like, "Okay, give me the mango go-go instead." I'm just like, "You don't really want to lose weight then, do you?" We have to eat things that we don't like or like at least with less amounts of sugar. And I'm telling because it is when it's less calories, it's also less calories by sugar. So
Right.
it
Yeah.
is the least amount. The thing with the least amount of sugar in that it has no sugar at all, sometimes if you take out the agave, is the gacha matcha and the bold and cold brew, which are ice drinks. And when I tell people this too, they are also unhappy and they're like, "Oh, no, don't take out the agave."
Give me
And I'm
my
like,
orange dream machine.
yeah. So, food for thought.
Correct, guys. Now it's time for Chisme de la Semana. And today on Chisme is, you guys, if you're out there listening to us, you should definitely look into Free Comic Book Day that happens every May 4th every year. And usually what happens, no, not May 4th every year.
Doesn't happen every May 4th, happens every first Saturday in May, which is not always May 4th.
It's May
But it's May
4th,
4th
right.
this year.
It's May 4th this year.
Yeah, it was made
yes.
a couple years ago too, I think.
Yeah, which is actually a nice crossover because that's Star Wars Day. So
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes.
it's
That's probably
very
what I got it confused with. Yeah.
yeah.
Usually, a lot of local comic book shops hold this event where they give out free comic books, which is like just total pandemonium at Diamond Comics because we have to count. Well, when I used to work there, we used to have to count an enormous amount of comic books that shops were giving out for free, and it was just such slow torture. But our torture is your benefit, and definitely check out your local comic book shop. They may be having an event. Some people have artists over. They have balloons. They have cosplaying. I mean, you never know. So check that. Sometimes they give out sales. They give out candy. So yeah, definitely look at your comic book shop for any event information for Free Comic Book Day, May 4th this year. And that's the chisme.
So I just want to put on my retailer hat really fast to say yes. lots of local comic book shops will have Free Comic Book Day. You can go to freecomicbookday.org to look up shops in your area. There are a lot of people who will go from shop to shop to shop to shop to get all their free stuff. But what I wanted to say is that it's not just about the free stuff. Free Comic Book Day is really intended to put comics out there to the community at large, to get them to start reading comics. These comic book shops are going to be giving you these books for free, but what you need to know is that they did not get them for free. Local comic book shops pay for those books. And yes, it is a small amount. It's like about 20, 30 cents per book. But when you're buying 100 of books per title, that can add up pretty quickly. And so what I want to just put out there to you as a consumer and, as a supporter of local comic book stores is buy something when you go to your local comic book store on Free Comic Book Day. This is historically the biggest revenue day of local comic book stores. Because they have people who have never really even stepped foot into a comic book store. They're there for the first time, and that's their opportunity to kind of get them hooked on comics. But it's also an opportunity for you as the customer to take advantage of the sales or the appearances that are going to happen and support your comic book store by making a purchase. Pick up your weekly books on that day, buy a trade, buy a pack of Pokemon, anything just to support that shop. Just in the last month here in Los Angeles, I know of 2 more shops that have closed. And so it is, and there's a third one on the brink. So it's super, super important that you not only attend these events, but that you spend money at them. So that's my retailer advice to you comic book readers and supporters out there.
Yeah, actually, I was in Las Vegas once during Free Comic Book Day and just Googled comic book shop around there, and they had stormtroopers. It was really cool. Like, you really can't miss it, even if you're not in your hometown. You could definitely look at local comic book shops around the area and then just stop by, say hello, and like Kristen said, purchase something. Because we all know that Free Comic Book Day is the gateway drug to get you hooked on comics. No, but seriously, please support your local comic book shop. All right, guys, now it's time for On My Radar. Kristen, what is on your radar?
I'm usually prepared with my thing up and ready, and I got so into Free Comic Book Day that I didn't do it. But on my radar this week is something that is not coming out until July, which honestly seems like it's pretty far away, but the rate at which this year has already gone by before my eyes is so quick. It's already going to be May, so June and July are right around the corner.
In less than 2 weeks, it's going to be May.
Yes. So what that also means is that since May's coming, comic book stores will be putting in their initial orders for these titles that are coming out in June. And actually, there's one that's coming out in July. But there is a Disney Marvel crossover, which kind of is like a misnomer because Disney is Marvel. Marvel is Disney. And anyhow, there is going to be a Donald Duck and Wolverine anniversary celebration where their worlds are going to collide in a Marvel book. It's a what if book, and it's what if Donald Duck became Wolverine. It's a one shot. This book sounds so funny, but I'm holding out hope that it's actually really cool. I will just turn your attention to the Tom King Elmer Fudd Batman book that came out that one year that everyone was like, this is stupid. What are they doing? And it was so amazing, and it won an Eisner.
So good. Yeah.
So
it is one of my prized possessions.
This book is going to come out in July, and it's to actually honor the 90th anniversary of Donald Duck and the 50th anniversary of Wolverine. So who even knew that Wolverine was so old? So it was announced that this is the first of its kind one shot that is going to celebrate those two anniversaries. The writer is Luca Barbieri, and the artist is Giada Perissinotto. And it's going to be the latest comic in collaboration between the Marvel and Disney franchises. And if you are a Disney fan at all, then you probably are very well aware of all the covers that came out over the last couple of years. I collected a lot of those Disney covers, and they were really cool. And a lot of them were Disney characters, quote unquote, cosplaying as Marvel characters that I really, really thought were cool. And so what's interesting is that this comic is going to introduce the Donald Wolverine along with other sorts of reimagined Disney and Marvel mashups, but it's inspired, the adventure that this Donald Wolverine is going to be going on is inspired by the story arcs in Old Man Logan. So
Wow.
if you know anything about Old Man Logan, that is an iconic perennial favorite of a lot of Wolverine fans, but there's a lot of really adult themes in that story. So how's Donald going to attack an Old Man Logan story arc? I'm very interested to know. And in addition, the saga is going to revisit some of the greatest moments in Donald Wolverine's history, including his time spent with Weapon X and the Uncanny X-Men. So that's coming
I'm
out.
guessing.
What's that?
I'm sorry. The immediate thought that came to mind was that, okay, so this Donald Wolverine fucks. That's what I'm hearing. He fucks.
That's funny, but I mean, that makes sense. That tracks. So that comes out in July. So it's never too early to let your comic book shop know that you want it. Initial orders, I'm sure, going to be going in May at some time. And coming out in July, there is another one. In June, there's another one shot coming out called Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime. I don't know what the Infinity Dime is. Obviously, it's a play on Infinity Gauntlet. But these Disney Marvel mashups sound silly, but I'm really hoping that they're not. So if you are a Disney and Wolverine fan, and even if you're not, I think it's worth it for you to pick it up and read it. It definitely is going to probably be one for the history books of comics.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Now it's time for La Hora de la Cervecita. What are we drinking today, ladies?
So today we are drinking Loncaro. Loncaro. A Finnish long drink. I don't know what that means, by the way.
Long drink?
It is...
You do know what it means, but you may have forgot. But Sarah explained it to us when we drank long drink. It was a drink called long drink that we got that we drank many years ago. Not years ago, months ago.
Okay. Months ago?
Many months ago.
Maybe a year ago.
Maybe a year, yeah.
Okay. So, it is gin and grapefruit. And it is 5% ABV. Let's see. Authentic recipe from Koipo, Finland. I hope I said that right. And then right here it says, Sisu, great and courage in the face of adversity. Recipe by Rock Paper Scissors Brewing Company. Anything else on here? Your purchase supports next steps and 6 million Americans living with paralysis. Oh,
Whoa,
nice.
that's cool.
You gave back, Sarah.
Oh, that's my favorite.
And then it has, learn more about how Loncaro gives back at Loncaro And that's all the information that I have for it.
Well, it
Oh, they
smells refreshing.
they have a little thing how long it takes to get from, I guess, Koipo, Finland to LAX.
I saw that.
What?
So the, like,
Yeah.
we have like the weather and the latitude and longitude on here.
Get cute.
That's kind of cute. All right, let's try it.
So a long drink, this isn't what I remember we were talking about, but it says it's a refreshing drink with a relatively low alcohol content made with the addition of a large amount of fruit juices, vegetables, or other beverages. But there was something that I remember Sarah saying about how like it was something that the Finnish fishermen or something would drink so that they didn't get like overly drunk and that it just lasted a long time. I don't know if I'm making that up.
Yeah.
But it translates from Finnish into English as tentacle. The casual term that comes from the way long drink is pronounced in English. It translates from Finnish to tentacle. I don't know what that means, but anyway.
All I'm hearing is tentacle beer.
Tentacle beer.
Tentacle beer.
But it's not even a beer. This isn't a beer.
Well, whatever it is.
Just want to make sure that this is gin and grapefruit. And it's made with natural grapefruit flavors. And I was just telling Sarah earlier, gin is my favorite liquor. Like, I've drank gin as my go-to since I was in high school. And my college friends used to always be like, "You're gonna order your old lady drink?"
Hey, a gin and tonic is a classic.
Very much smell the grapefruit. It made my mouth water when I smelled it.
Oh, it tastes really good. I really wish I had this poured over ice.
This is so good.
Like, this over ice.
I think I like this better than the original long drink we had.
Right. Isn't it like more delicious? Like, I don't know.
I didn't even know good.
I didn't even know they made different types until I walked into, I think it was Caps and Corks. And I was like, what? What is this? They have another one?
Yeah.
And I was like, let's do it. Let's do it on the podcast. Because we were like so it was the first one. We really loved it.
Yeah.
And then we looked into it. And I think some actors kind of backed that and were trying to bring it into LA. I think that's what it was. And then we looked and the Crest had long drink on tap.
Yes, the Crest does. I ordered it not too long ago. Also, I found some long drinks at Ralph's in the space in the back where they have like crushed cans. There's a dent or whatever, and they have them as a discount. They were back there for I think $1.99 a can, and I was like, I don't know if that's a good deal or not, but I bought all of them. And then I took them all to Modesto, and then, as you all know, I threw up and got sick, and so I don't know who enjoyed them, but hopefully somebody did.
Right, hold on one moment. I need to plug in my laptop.
Okay. This tastes pretty delicious, dude. I'm really excited about this. I did not think it was going to get better than the last one.
It's very good. I don't taste the gin as much as I would like to. I taste a hint of it there. But if you are a gin drinker that enjoys the flavor of gin, which I actually do, like that, like, it's like a spiciness, I guess, to it. You don't get that heavy of a gin taste. So if you're someone who doesn't like to taste your liquor, this is perfect for you. But either way, it's delicious. It's very sweet, and not in a sweet way that when we say beer is sweet, it's not really sweet. But this is very sweet. The grapefruit is very pronounced, more so than the gin. And if you are a seltzer lover, although this isn't a seltzer, I think you know what I would say, that this is a little bit between a seltzer and a hard cider, like the Apple Orchard. Is it Apple Orchard? The Angry Orchard. The Angry Orchard ciders is like in between there as far as fizziness and sweetness.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty impressed. It's a little sweeter than I'd like, but I really appreciate the toronja, the grapefruit in the back. That was
Yeah.
really delicious. Um, it's it's pretty refreshing. I think this would be like a really great summer drink, like just
Yeah,
barbecue
and
and
I do
summer.
agree with you, Jen. Over ice would be really nice.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes, definitely. But it really has a strong grapefruit taste, but it's not the bitter one. It's the sweet one
Yeah. Hmm.
because there's
Yeah.
different types. But overall, it's really good. I like the limited carbonation as well. It's just really refreshing. It's really clean
Yes.
tasting.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we
And
ready?
we're ready to rate it as soon as I just mentioned that we found where we could find long drink on their website. So if I'm assuming if you go onto their website and look for this product that you'd be able to find where it was located. Like I have a bar literally just about 4 blocks away from my house that serves long drink. And so um if you're interested in trying this gin and grapefruit Loncaro, you probably can go to their website and look it up. And if not, you are going to be able to find the actual original long drink, and that we highly recommend as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So, as our rating scale, we have a 5-point scale where 1 is very unsatisfied, a 2 is unsatisfied, a 3 is right in the middle, neutral, a 4 out of 5 is satisfied, and a 5 out of 5 is very satisfied. And if we really like something that is off the charts, we give it a Super Saiyan. So, I'll go ahead and start. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. If I tasted the gin just a little bit more pronounced, that I really enjoy that flavor, it would be Super Saiyan for me. But 5 out of 5 is really solid, and I definitely will be looking for this out in the wild from now on.
No, 10 about.
Yes, this is Sarah, and I am also going to give it a very satisfied. It's a little bit sweeter than I like in my drinks, but overall, it's very refreshing, and I love the grapefruit taste. What about you, Jen?
I'm also going to give it a 5 out of 5. It's really, really good. I really wish mine was colder or
No,
that I had
Yeah.
a cup of ice to like pour it over. Ugh. Like this and like either with like some orange juice or like pour it in like mimosa style to like another thing. Ugh. It'd be so, so good. So 5 out of 5 for me.
Excellent. That has been our beer review. All right, guys, now it's time for our book review. What are we reviewing today?
So today we are reviewing Monstrous. A transracial adoption story by Sarah Myer. So I'm gonna read what we have right here in the little book flap. So, my vivid imagination would cause me to internalize my emotions with monstrous results. Sarah has always struggled to fit in. Born in South Korea and adopted at birth by a white couple, she grows up in rural farming community with very few Asian neighbors. People whisper and stare in the supermarket. Classmates ostracize and bully her. Sarah has trouble containing her anger in these moments, but through it all she has her art. She's always been a compulsive drawer, and when she discovers anime, her hobby becomes an obsession. Though drawing and cosplay offer her an escape, she still struggles to connect with others, and in high school, the bullies are louder and meaner. Her bubbling rage is threatening to burst. To overcome her anger and pain, Sarah will have to contend with the most monstrous thing of all, her own insecurities. So, this was all done by one person, Sarah Mayer.
They,
Pronouns are they,
they,
them.
them. Mhm.
Um, uh, and right here on their synopsis, Sarah Maya is a comic artist and illustrator hailing from a 10-acre farm in Whitehall, Maryland. An old school cosplayer and anime fan, Sarah has attended conventions as a fan and artist alley participant since 1999 and has constructed and worn more than 50 costumes. When they aren't drawing, writing, or cosplaying, Sarah enjoys cooking, weight training, and spending time with their mackerel tabby Loki. Sarah graduated from Savannah College of Art Design with BFA and MFA degrees in sequential art and they taught foundation studies classes at the college. In 2019, First Second published Maker Comics Create a Costume, Sarah's first graphic novel. So, I have a confession. I did not read the book. I browsed it, I skimmed through it, and I liked what I saw, but due to being employed full time, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I barely have any hobbies anymore. I was not able to read it because it's pretty big, like big book. And yes, it's all pictures and stuff like that, but I am a college graduate. I am an English major. I study that shit every single time I read. So I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't able to sit down and like really look through it how I wanted it to. But honestly, just like the synopsis, knowing what like or just like reading what Samir's been through, the it looks there was this particular one where they draw themselves, I think like in a Pokemon battle. And I saw that and I was just like, oh, that's kinda cool. But honestly, it sounds like a coming it's basically they're like coming of age story. I think that's cool.
So the story, I learned a lot actually about Korean adoption that I was shocked about. And I have to say, okay, so Monstrous really is Sarah the um artist and creator, because the name of the little girl in the book is also Sarah. And of course it's based on the writer. But Sarah, the writer, says that there were a little bit of changes that they made to protect
Okay.
the not so innocent, but also just to, I would assume the flow of the story or whatever. But it really follows their what they know, because obviously they don't remember. They were brought to America as a baby, and they were adopted by their by their mom and dad, with another Korean girl. Kim, was that her name? Kim's sister.
I
Her
don't.
sister. Their sister's name was Kim.
Ellie? No, Ellie. I think.
Lily.
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 Ellie.
Ellie? Lily? No, I don't remember. But anyway.
But it was not Kim. It was not Kim.
Oh, Kim was one of the names of their original, I think. Anyway, I don't want to confuse you. But so they both were adopted. I think they were adopted at different times. Liz! I don't know.
Lizzie.
Lily, Cammy, Liz. And so Sarah's recollection, obviously, of a lot of that is not there because they were a baby when they came over. But the story itself follows their growth, not just coming of age, but going to school, preschool, elementary, junior high, high school, all the way up until when they went away to college. And it really focused a lot on feeling other. Because as was mentioned in the little excerpt, they grew up in a very rural part of their state, which was what, Maryland? And there were not a lot of other Asian students, even not a lot of other other ethnic students. It was really kind of homogenous. And so that really lent itself to Sarah being bullied and ostracized and just picked on incessantly throughout the entire school age years. And to be honest, the monstrous idea was their idea of who they thought they were inside, that made them so easy of a target to be ostracized and pointed out, whatever. And also that monster is what came out when they just didn't know how to deal with that horrible treatment. And so a lot of times Sarah lashed out with violence. And to be honest with you, reading the stories, I was like, yes, hit him again, hit him harder, kick him in the nuts. Like, I was so angry and frustrated at how they were being treated by other kids. And in the book, Sarah actually says, you know, now that I'm older, I realize that this was behavior or things that these kids were just repeating because they learned it at home. But still, it was very angering. Like, I got very angry reading the book and some of the situations of the things that they would tell Sarah, and laugh and just, and the dad, like, I was on the dad's side. The dad would like really support Sarah and be like, yeah, you know, don't mess with them. Or when Sarah would admit that she got angry enough to lash out and hit them, he would be like, good.
That's
Good
my
girl.
girl.
That's my girl. And so, as far as like Korean adoption, like what they were talking about was that there are actually, because I think they talked a little bit about how they might never know who their birth parents are. And as a lot of adopted kids kind of go through this feeling and thought process of not being good enough, that their parents didn't want them because they weren't good enough or that they weren't lovable. And so Sarah talks a lot about those feelings and emotions that they felt as a kid and as growing up, and how a lot of those feelings and emotions were reiterated to them because they were ostracized by their peers. And there was no support from the school at all. Like, Sarah actually went to report the racist behavior against them, and the school was like, oh, you know, basically white kids be white kidding. It's that, I mean, that's basically what the vice principal said. But back to the adoption, I guess there, and I think this happens in not just Korea, but other countries. There were cases and instances where children were kidnapped from their families to sell to white American families. And so Sarah really talks about how they're never really going to know what their situation was from. They know what they were told, but who can tell if that's the truth or not? So I'm like, wow, how like horrible, as because Sarah talks about how they knew from a very young age that there was never a time where they can't remember knowing they were adopted. And how horrible to have that thought of, once you get old enough to understand adoption and what that means, but to have that thought of, did my parents really want me? And was I stolen from them? Like, there were so many different layers of trauma that this poor child went through. And at the end of the day, which I just thought was kind of a hooray moment to comics and manga and whatever, at the end of the day, Sarah's drawing and their love for anime and manga and all of that kind of nerdy stuff basically saved them. And so, I don't know, I've just been talking. Sarah, what did you think?
I absolutely love this book. It was really great. And like you said, like, you got angry at certain points. There's a lot of traumatic stuff happening. I mean, I would have been I commend this character because if it were me, and at some certain extent it was me, I didn't fight back, you know? And I'm glad that she was as rambunctious as she was to like fight her battles. And like she said, like, maybe she lashed out too harshly on some people, but after that they stopped bothering her. And I wish I would have been kind of brave enough to do that. Um, but also, just the little things that she really develops these characters. I mean, obviously she's the main character, and there's some things that she changed in the story just to kind of fit
Right.
the storytelling area. but how they developed the other characters, such as the bullies. Like at some points, I even felt kind of sorry for them. Like this guy that was her friend that she befriended for the love of Pokemon. And then when they came back after summer vacation, they tried to say hi and hey, how was your summer? And he totally blew her off and then proceeded to be really vulgar and mean to her, like super mean. And when I read his dialogue, I almost was seeing his dad
Mhm.
talking to him
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
was like, that's so sad. I feel sorry for you because you can't be yourself because your dad is telling you that you're wrong. And and it's, I don't know, like I feel like that guy's unhappy too, you know? And then all these other guys, all these other people, they are completely insensitive. Like there's one point where she says, "Oh, I don't look like my parents because I'm adopted." And they're like, "What? Did your parents find you in the trash?" Like, what the fuck? Seriously? Like, they did not pull any punches on these horrible, horrible comments. And even they looked at like flipped the mirror on themselves because there was a point where there was another girl that everybody ignored and did not befriend or whatever. And she said, I should have taken the high road and made a new friend, but instead I also just ignored her.
Mhm.
And I wish there was a little bit more development there, but
Yeah, me too. I thought they were gonna become best friends.
me
But
too.
it also
Yeah.
but honestly, that I think would have been like fairy
Too easy?
tailing up the story because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, kids follow along with what other kids do. Your peers, um, their thought process and what they're doing and their opinions are what matter most during that developmental stage in life. And so, of course, Sarah was already being made fun of and ostracized and everything. And instead of finding camaraderie in that with this other student, they wanted to prevent themselves from being made fun of even more. And so they also joined in with ignoring that student. So I
Absolutely.
actually
Yeah.
thought that was super realistic. Um,
Yes.
even though I wanted the friendship to develop. Because there was a
Yeah.
little moment that they had,
Yeah.
and then it didn't go anywhere from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Um, and there's a lot of like development of all the emotions she's going through, like when her mom is diagnosed with cancer and how they tell the story from their perspective. So we know it's really bad because she had a mastectomy.
Mm,
Uh, but she didn't know how bad it was because she was still a kid. So that's kind of the
right.
story she told, which I thought was amazing. Um, all these all these kind of inner monologues are really reflective of like a real experience. I really love that inner voice because they did not pull any punches with their own self-reflective critique about themselves as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, they call themselves monstrous. Uh, it just was just kind of amazing. And also looking at the kind of a sexual awakening as well in a sense. And they even go through a little goth phase, like tiny, but it's a little goth phase. I really like that. Um, I really love the references because obviously they reference the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They reference Pokemon, Sailor Moon, stuff like that. So it's been like it was really really cool. And then the feeling how they described going to their first Comic Con, I was like, oh, that's how I felt. Like, oh shit, I belong here. This is awesome. So I felt I was taken on this wonderful journey of discovery, of anger, of not belonging, of, being picked on and bullied, and even her the mom's perspective on how to handle, certain aspects that I felt sometimes she said it more than once, was like, "I wish we would've taught you more about your Korean culture," like, I mean, you could tell that the mom was kind of at a loss at a certain point because it's like, "Oh my god, like, what can I do to reduce this pain from my child?" Um, and it was just It was really moving, is what I'm trying to say. I really, really love this book. I love the art. The art was sensational. Even I mean, you see this beautiful, like, art, like, it's so, like, naturally beautiful, but then you see the monster and it just, and then you see the insides and the cells and it just, because there's a point where, they have kind of a fear of the human body, which I thought was amazing. That was like something that caught me by surprise. But the artwork, and then when there were moments of sheer joy, you could even see like a kind of like a spectrum of color in the background, and I thought that was really beautiful. The way that kind of shows the joy of the moment in that moment. That was amazing. Definitely took us on a journey with the art as well as um, the story itself with the inner monologue and even the Pokemon duel standoff kind of thing. I thought that was really great. Um, I think we're actually ready to rate it. I mean, it's quite magnificent. I can't recommend this enough. I'm just like in awe of the talent in this book.
So our rating scale is on a scale of 1 to 3 conchas, because if you don't know, 3 conchas is the most conchas that Jen's mom ever let her eat in one sitting. So that was the best. And if the book doesn't fit on our scale, then we become creative and we give it another rating. But I just wanted, before I rate the book, to point out that there's just so many different layers of themes that this book deals with. Not just the feelings of being ostracized and being other, because Sarah was adopted, but also growing up in a very rural, homogenized, racist locale. Also, throughout the book, we see the violent outbursts and behaviors, but there's actually a point in the book where Sarah mentions that at the time, they didn't realize that there were actually mental health issues that they needed to deal with. And so I thought that was very amazing for this book to show the behavior and then actually be like, hey, this wasn't okay and it wasn't normal. And it was something that I should have gotten help with. And that other adults around me should have, been able to help me with. But again, like Sarah was saying, the parents were kind of at a loss as well. And then also, as Sarah briefly mentioned, Sarah briefly mentioned, the Sarah in the book starts to wonder if they are gay. And it is just another thing on top of all the other horrible things that they already believe of themselves, because to them, gay was not something that was good. It was definitely bad. They heard all of the other students talking poorly about gay people. And in fact, one of the poignant things in the book that hit me was they actually talked about the Matthew Shepard case in one of the classes that Sarah was in. And something that Sarah overheard the students saying was basically, oh, well, he was gay. Who cares? Like, he,
Yikes.
yes. And so, of course, if you're a kid and you hear that and you're having these feelings and emotions inside of you and questioning whether or not you may be gay, of course, you're not going to want to say anything or accept it. And kudos to Sarah's mom and parents for actually being accepting. But like and these are one of the situations where I'm reading this. Obviously, the real Sarah experienced these things, heard these things, has affected them so freaking much they wrote a whole damn book about it. I just couldn't, but like, I think as adults, sometimes we forget how fucking hard it is to grow up.
To be a kid. Yes,
Yeah, to be a
absolutely.
kid. And so for that, I am giving this book the whole panaderia, a cup of chapurrado, a whole case of Loncaro, everything. I mean, it just really was so amazing. And it actually was nominated for multiple awards and is up for, I think it was a Los Angeles Times Award. And Sarah is actually going to be at the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books here in Los Angeles at the USC campus at the end of the month. So if you, not sure when this episode will be out, but if you are listening to this and the Festival of Books in Los Angeles has not happened yet, definitely check it out because Sarah will be there.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Now I want to go. For me, Sarah on Sarah. Ooh, Sarah on Sarah. Anyway, I absolutely love this book. I saw some of myself in it, and the journey about getting bullied and trying to be like one of the rest of the people. I was the type of person, and I kind of still am, a person that blurts out really stupid stuff. And then I'm like, why did I say that out loud? And then people are like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, what a weirdo. But I mean, I've grown to like be accustomed to it. Before it was horrible. I would be in my head forever. Like, why did you say that? Oh my God, you're so stupid. Um, but anyway, just the whole book, the art, outstanding, outstanding art. Thank you for taking us on the journey on the inner monologue, because that was a really developed part of the story. It became a whole different character. So for me, that was just amazing. I am in awe of this book. It was really just amazing, great stuff. I'm gonna give it the whole panaderia, all tres conchas, and all the breads that come in the panaderia with the moon prism power. Yeah, because they're a fan of Sailor Moon, and I like Sailor Moon. I used to watch it all the time. I could do the little song, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. I'm gonna save you guys from that. But that has been our book review. All right, guys, now it's time for En la Libreria. Jen, what do you have for us today?
So today I have Gato in a Tree, a Greñuda story, an animated Latinx proof of concept short film. So, this is being done by Paul Myer. And I have actually done something from Paul Myer, and this was a very long time ago. Both as like a shout out, but also I believe we reviewed this book, haven't we?
Yes.
Under the Cottonwood Tree, El Susto de la Curandera. So, not long ago, brothers Paul and Carlos Myer, along with the fantabulous illustrator Margaret Hardy, tapped the well of Kickstarter to help bring to life the graphic novel Under the Cottonwood Tree, El Susto de la Curandera. Well, now they want to introduce Greñuda, Gato in a Tree, again, a Greñuda story. So this is an animated, it's going to be an animated short. So after contemplating what tale to tell next, the brothers hatched a plan to expand the world of Under the Cottonwood Tree and venture into animation with the forthcoming feature-length film Greñuda into the Paraje, an American Southwest fairy tale adventure. So, on here it says, logline, after a young girl's life is turned upside down with the disappearance of her parents, she sets off into a mysterious in-between world in order to try to bring them back. Once again, we return to the familiar settings of 1940s New Mexico, where magic and adventure abound. But this time at the helm is the uber-talented animator Maya Lou Dite Shepherd. We cannot wait for the day when the rest of the world will be able to join Greñuda and her misfit group of friends as they discover why New Mexico, with its innumerable magical tales, is called the Land of Enchantment. But until then, what comes first? Before we can go into the paraje, we must climb a tree. Enter Gato in a Tree, a Greñuda story. So Gato in a Tree is a 7-minute animated film that will serve as a proof of concept precursor to Greñuda into the paraje. The short film will introduce all of our main characters as they band together to save Mr. Gato, who is stuck in a tree, while giving just a hint of the adventures to come for Greñuda and her friends. Once complete, the film will be entered into film festivals as well as used to pitch to investors and film producers. So they already have like the characters, and who the talent that will be voicing them. Their main character Greñuda is going to be, let's see, voiced by Lauren Poole. Oh no, wait, no, not her. sorry. Oh, they're actually still looking to cast the voice of Greñuda.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So if they're looking for a young Hispanic girl ages 8 to 13 who would like to voice Greñuda, and they can send their information at greñudapower@gmail.com. Then they have they have Irma, which is a goat, and that's going to be voiced by Lauren Poole. And then there's Duende, and I believe there's gonna be Duende and Chaguelito. So Chaguelos are a race of giant rock creatures who are mad, bad, and eat misbehaving children at night. But this is a baby Chaguelo who hasn't grown his horns in yet and loves to eat green chili. And he's going to, both Duende and Chaguelito are going to be voiced by Carlos Medina. Then there's Nitis, and he's going to be voiced by Paul.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then Laura Martinez Cunningham will be bringing to voice the off-screen presence of Greñuda's mother, who only has a few lines, but they are very important lines. So Paul has been. I remember when Paul was like pitching under the cottonwood tree. They he like didn't even have like
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw him, he like just had like concepts and sketches and stuff like that. And he said like this is what I'm working on, like the Facebook page. Like he didn't even have anything else. He just had a Facebook page.
I
And
remember.
I was just like, this sounds interesting. All right, I'll follow. And then from there it developed, and then he had like a book, like a pretty rough book, but he was just like, look, it's made, it just needs finishing touches and stuff like that. And lo and behold, when Under the Cottonwood Tree came out, it was amazing. And he won a bunch of awards, or like him and their artist. Who was their artist again? They just said it. Margaret Hardy. Yeah, they got the 2019 International Latino Book Award, first place winner for best graphic novel. They won the 2019 Moonbeam Children Book Award for gold medal winner best graphic novel. They won the New Mexico Arizona Book Awards for, again, best graphic novel. The 2019 Forward Indies Book of the Year Awards, finalist graphic novel and comics. The 2020 American Fiction Awards, so winner for best graphic novel. The 2020 ASOP Accolade Award by the American Folklore Society, and the 2021 Texas Library Association's Little Maverick graphic novel reading list.
Wow.
So that's a lot. And so they're moving on to animation now, and Greñuda looks really, really good. Or at least they have like a little like screenshot for Into the Paraje, but then I'm guessing they have pretty much like most of it done. This is mostly gonna go towards like they finishing the project, as well as paying the voice actors and the artists who are going to be working, because animation be taking a lot of money and a lot of time.
Yeah.
So this is a proof of concept short film. So basically what a proof of concept is that it's basically just a short animation. In this one, they said it was going to be 7 minutes, but kind of like a look, we made this, people want to see it, we have the talent, we have the voices, this could be made into a full-length film. So that's what a kind of a proof of concept is, and it's usually used for like, trying to pitch a full-length feature film. So Paul, oh my god, okay, wow, holy shit. So Paul has this. He has a goal of $16,500. He's currently at 3,395. With 33 backers and 27 days as to go recording this. I'm not gonna lie, when I opened this page for doing this, it was at 2,800.
Oh,
So
wow.
somehow in between now and when I opened this before we started recording, and now someone donated about $500,
Wow,
or
nice.
enough people donated enough for $500. So, there's interest. So you can always pledge without expecting a reward. You just want to show support. But the base pledge starts at $5. You support Greñuda just because you like. But at $20, you get the screener link, so you can see the film before the festival run. You'll receive a link to watch Gato in a Tree for a limited time before the film is shown in festival, and get a thank you shout out in the credits. And then at $30, you get your very own copy of the 11x14 film poster. At $50, you get the signed limited edition variant poster. And then at $150, you get a backpack of fun. So in addition to the previous rewards, you grab a backpack of fun where you can peek inside of your Greñuda branded backpack, and you'll find 6 stickers, one for each of the characters, 6 buttons, and and for the little Greñudas, a branded scrunchie and hairbrush.
Oh, that's so
Oh, qué cute.
cool.
And then for $250, you can attend the premiere. Yeah,
Mm.
it's only a short film, but it's not going to be a big time Hollywood premiere. But they'll have what is it? Beverages and sec. So the event space is yet to be determined, but the plan is to mingle with the cast and crew, enjoy some New Mexican cuisine with a beverage or two, and celebrate indie filmmaking. The location will be in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the voice cast attendant is yet to be confirmed. One premiere ticket per tier pledge. Additional tickets can be added for $50 per. So this is just kind of like I'm interested in also to supporting. And for $1,000, you could be the voice of Mr. Gato.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's it's a very ambitious goal, but it looks really, really, really cute, and we already know that Paul is a good storyteller. Definitely check out Under the Cottonwood Tree. It's amazing. It's an amazing book. It's an amazing read. I love it. And I will always be telling anybody like, hey, you're interested in kind of like Latin American, New Mexico, or just a really like Latino story. Under the Cottonwood Tree is a really, really good one. So check out Gato in a Tree, a Greñuda story on Kickstarter, and show some support for it if you can.
All right, guys, now's the time for Juntos y Fuertes. Kristen, what do you have for us today?
So, just as a reminder, Juntos y Fuertes is our segment where, we highlight project or programs by members of marginalized communities. And today I took my Juntos y Fuertes segment information from the back of Monstrous. So as we talked about all of the different themes and topics that the book addresses, there is a resource list that they included at the back of their book, which I thought was amazing, an amazing thing to do. And there are resources from adoption resources, Korean adoptee resources, stop bullying resources. There are Asian pride resources, and also the National Alliance on Mental Illness support crisis line. So I thought that was amazing. And one of the ones that I wanted to highlight was an organization called the Center for Racial Justice in Education. And I wanted to specifically highlight this one because I got so angry at the response that we saw in the book of Sarah's teachers and administration of their schools. And so the mission of the Center for Racial Justice in Education, their mission is to train and empower educators to dismantle patterns of racism and injustice in schools and communities. At Center for Racial Justice in Education, they envision a world where all young people learn and thrive in racially equitable, liberating, and empowering educational spaces. So just imagine if when little Sarah went to their teacher or to their administrators in their school and complained about being called flat face, or being told that they look like a monkey and not being turned away or just placated. Imagine if they actually addressed the situation with those students who were spreading racist, uh, you know, blurbs to Sarah. So if you're listening and you know an educator or you yourself are an educator and you want resources, you can go to centerracialjustice.org. So it's just CENTERRACILJUSTICE. And they actually have a lot of resources on this website. There are different programs that they have. They have an anti-racist educator leadership program. They have a program called the Baker Butler program, and that is a youth adult partnership that is inspired by the legacies of Ella Baker and Octavia Butler. And the program utilizes art-based pedagogical approaches to target critical dialogue, creative expression, and youth adult partnerships in order to advance racial justice in high school communities. So, lots of amazing resources and programs here. And if you just want to donate to this amazing organization, you can do that as well. So again, that's centerracialjustice.org.
All right, guys, now it's time for saludos. And saludos goes out today to Ernesto Aviña. Yes, Ernesto Aviña is, he creates these figures that he makes out of paper. They're all made out of paper, and that's his art. He creates these figures of like Pennywise, like Pokemon, like what do we call those? Not social media, but like
Pop culture?
pop culture. Thank you. Oh my God, I
Oh,
was
okay.
trying to blank.
I'm like, I don't
He
know what you're talking
cre-
about.
he creates these amazing artworks out of paper, all out of paper. They're very sturdy, very well made. They're very detail oriented, and they're all pop culture. I mean, he does not take commissions, but basically he has done it all underneath the sun. As far as I could tell, it was just amazing. We met him at WonderCon. We have met him. This was the second time we actually talked to him at WonderCon, but he's very talented. And you know what I love about his art is that he doesn't gatekeep it. He actually has a YouTube channel where he teaches you how to make the art that he
Oh,
makes.
really? Oh, wow.
I was flabbergasted. I was like, "Oh my God, I love what you're doing, but I would never do it. It's too time consuming." I
Yeah.
mean, it looks amazing. But you can find his channel on YouTube on handmade paper art. It's origami paper art of like all these like he did the Bob's Burgers characters. I thought that was really cute. And you could see his TikToks at handmade paper art, and also on Instagram, handmade paper art, all one word, handmade paper art. You can also Google that, but definitely he doesn't, like I said, he doesn't take commissions, but I think you'd be hard pressed not to find one of your favorite characters that he's already made into this amazing origami paper, all paper art. So saludos to Ernesto Aviña. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. Where can they find us?
As always, you can find us at comadresycomics.com, where you can find all the links to our social media and also links to our episodes. You can also find us on YouTube. If you're not already watching us and you're just listening, you can actually tune in to our channel, Comadresy Comics on YouTube, and watch us as we record these episodes. It was something that we decided to do just a few episodes ago. So you can go back and watch some of the past ones as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. I was so excited. There was a comment today. There was 3 comments all by the same person, but on the Save Chupi video. I'm like, oh my God, someone's reaching out. They're watching. So I went and I responded to those, but definitely subscribe as well, because you will be notified when we put up a new episode.
Yes, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your time with us. We are very appreciative. Please remember, we will be at QCon and WeHo. I've always wanted to say that out loud. WeHo, West Hollywood. So yeah, follow our Instagram and social media to check out what other events we'll be at. But as of right now, I know that we will be at QCon coming up in the next couple of months. So thank you so much for listening. We have been your hosts. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
And that's on Period Network.